what I'm going to do is say, first of all, here's the challenges. Here's the 3 things that you need to do that, and here's how coaching can help you. And what I just explained is really my world. This is what I've been doing for as many years as I've been coaching, working with leaders at all levels on all of those challenges with all of these tools. And, it's the same thing for years. It's teaching the skills, the organizations, the leaders in order to do this. I have a passion about this, and I also believe that this is the key level that is also hungry for this sort of support, because we put a lot of investment at the higher level leaders and not so much into these unsung heroes, which is why I actually created this online peer coaching program. And what it is, I like to call it an introduction to executive and peer coaching, because it's accelerated and it's still high touch, but it's not as long and as in-depth and as time intensive as it is if you were to do a 6 months or a year executive coaching program. So through this program, it's 3 months, 12 weeks, about 7 to 8 hours a month, about 2 to 4 hours of online self-paced training. You get 3 one-on-one individual sessions with an executive coach and 4 2-hour peer group sessions over the 2 weeks. And it's during those peer group sessions where we talk about building those essential leadership skills. We talk about managing stress. So the peer group sessions are structured, and you're having conversations about those particular things in it. It's the same transformational leadership outcomes that you get from regular leadership coaching, less than half of the engagement time and less than half the fees, because in these days, companies, individuals don't have either. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now, and Barb's going to take over as I narrate for you. Sorry. Yes, Zane, thank you for staying. I will talk to you later on. All right, so for those of you who are still on the line, I want to show you 2 of my of the programs now, and actually show you how to navigate first the course, and then we're going to spend some time on the 360 tool as well. So this is based on a program called Kajabi. And this is what the dashboard looks like when you first enter the dashboard. So you'll see it's really easy to navigate. On the right-hand side, my right-hand side, is you can see all of the 32 lessons, how many you've completed, and then on the left-hand side is actually where you click on to get to the lesson. So we're going to start and click on the pre-work here, and to show you what you'll see when you click on that. This is the very first kickoff session that people will go to before they start the 3-month self-paced lessons. This is where you meet your cohort. This is where we talk about what you'll learn through the program. And as you can see, as you scroll down, everything tells you what the action is, what you're going to need to do before that session. So what you need to do, what you can expect, so you can do some preparation. And then you can also have an optional read. So there's definitely an optional activity. What I noticed when I first created this program, and we had it only 2 months and I beta tested it, there were those, just like coaching, that put, everything into it. What you put into it is what you get out of it. So there are those individuals who want all kinds of things, want to read everything, and there are those who say, what do I need to do just to get through tomorrow? So I went back and I made the lessons mandatory in order to get through, and then a lot of optional lessons as well to help accommodate that. So that's how actually the lessons look like when you go back to the navigation. And so then you move down to your first month, right? How you perceive yourself. So this is where we start to focus on self-awareness. There's a lot of survey tools and intake as part of the normal coaching process. And then here you'll start to take the Lumina self-assessment. I use Lumina for years. The reason I love this self-assessment, it helps you understand who you are yourself when you get your everyday self, when you get overwhelmed and stressed, and when the behaviors actually change. And they have a lot of online dashboard and tools you can use as well. So you'll start by taking the assessment, you'll be able to review your own results, and then you'll prepare for your first one-on-one session with your coach. And what you'll do for that is you'll take a survey for the reflection questions. And so it'll ask you, the survey questions ask you, what did you learn? What did you see? So you're all ready when you move to that first session with your coach to be able to talk about what areas of self-development, and the Lumina Spark also gives you those development ideas as well. And the online tools that you use from them gives you more online ideas for development. So you're really prepared to have that first session with your coach. Then if you go back to the nav board, so after your first session with your coach, then you'll also notice there's a journals as optional. So you can get your reflections with your coach. And so you always have a dashboard. You're always able to keep your notes all in one place, again, if you choose to use it. And then you'll prepare during this first month for our second group session, where we'll start to really understand how do we manage our stress triggers and start to get the introduction into the self-aware leader, which is the 360 tool. And then after every group session, you'll have optional tools and resources to go back to do some additional reading, to do some additional recap. The recording of the session is in there as well. So again, you can use as much of this or not as you want to get engaged. Then we move to the second month. And that's when I'll show you the self-aware leader in a second, but that's when we start to really not start to say, how do other people see me? So you'll take the self-assessment yourself through the self-aware leader, and then you'll ask others to take the assessment. And that's what you spend most of the second month on. And then you'll have, before your second group coach or your second one-on-one coaching session, you'll be able to, again, go track your reflections from the feedback that you got, and asked you, what did you learn? What surprised you? So when you have your second one-on-one meeting with your coach, you'll have all of this information and ready and prepared to be able to talk about both of those. And then we'll start to move into how to create your development plan. Creating your IDP, there's a video to help you do it. There's templates to help you create your IDP. And then you have an opportunity to share that with your accountability partner from your group. And then in month 3 is when we really move to the peer group coaching sessions. The first one being able to manage your time and capacity. The second one being able to deal with difficult conversations. And again, there's surveys and follow-up to really help manage your progress all along the way. And then you can journal your reflections about that. And then finally, you prepare for your third group session or your third one-on-one session with your leader, with your coach. What I wanted to check out on this one, or show you in particular with this one, wait, Barb, when you just go back to the preparing for your session with your coach, what we've done in this one, if you move all the way down under the optional, is really given you tools to be able to have a one-on-one conversation with your leader about your IDP. So it gives you a guide for how you can have the conversation. You send the manager guide for how they can have the conversation. So it walks you through with tools that you can actually use to talk about what you aspire to and how you're going to get there. So I wanted to point that out because that closes the loop on being able to have the conversation with your leader in that. All right. Now I want to show you, providing no one has any questions on any of that. And we'll have some time at the end on that. So let's move to the Self-Aware Leader 360 tool. So this is the second tool that people will use when they go to get their 360 feedback. So this is the landing page. When you get to the culture platform where the Self-Aware Leader tool lives, you'll put in your name and your email address, and then you'll get to this landing page, which is actually the dashboard here. So when you look at the overview, so this is Olivia's, and Olivia has actually gone online and taken the self-survey herself. and she's assessed herself against those 4 leadership drivers that we've actually talked about. And what you'll notice on the yellow one on her score on hers is anything that's 50% and lower. What this is telling Olivia that she's assessed herself is that she needs to spend more time driving a high-performing culture. So you always have a real-time dashboard. You'll always be able to see where you stand. You'll be able to see the breakdown. I'll talk about the sentiment in a second. But if you click on the 360 results at the top, then you'll also be able to get, there you go, a 360 view in real time, depending on how many people that you've asked in terms of how you assess yourself versus how others have assessed you and where they see you. So, and obviously you can see that Olivia has a little different perspective of herself than some of the people that she's asked to assess her. But this gives you that actual real time, and you'll be able to know how many surveys were completed. And then if you click on the survey links, this will show you how to be able to send it out. So you just copy the survey for others and you send it in an email. And then, Barbara, if you click on take the self-assessment, super easy to take the self-assessment. It's very quick. There's about 18 questions. This one is your own. So this says, I advocate for my direct reports, but the one that you as a participant will say, the person I am assessing advocates for their direct reports. And they'll quickly go ahead and answer all 18 questions. And then what they will also do at the throughout the survey is have a chance to put some feedback, some comments as well, because again, the qualitative and the quantitative is really key. So they'll go ahead and put in their comments. And then if you go back to the overview here, and what I'll do is click on the guideposts. So the guideposts here are, again, describe what the drivers are, so you can see how you can see yourself. If you click on the 360 results, it continuously shows how others are assessing you. Also, if you click on alphabetical at the top, what that actually shows you is you can show what's high to low. And so it ranks them on how well you're doing. So that's really, if you need a reminder of what the guideposts and what people are actually asking to assess you against. And then when you click on verbatims, this is the fun key one here. So this is where we incorporate AI. And the verbatim page is communicating a couple different things. So when people actually put in their comments, what the AI tool does is it rewrites it. Because for those of you who've ever had a 360 or you've, administered 360s, you know that people can't help but say, oh, I wonder who said that. Or based on the conversation, I think so-and-so said that. So the snippets actually change the verbiage so that you get the gist of what they're trying to say, but you can't really tell who said it. And then the topics give you sort of this assessment in what you need to do better. So it allows you to do, show you that. And then the sentiments by topic is really interesting because it gives you what the, so in this case of the 15 people that took it, 7 of those sentiments were in the negative category. So it also gives you a little bit of interpretation of the data as well. And in the next iteration of this, we're also going to be able to add some development suggestions based on the topic, that sort of thing. So let's see, we'll go back to, so that's the self-aware leader. I actually wanted to show you this and spend some time in it because everyone will get a link to be able to use that. You'll get a free tool for that, or a free subscription to that to use. So I'd love you to play with it and give your feedback on that. All right, so I'm going to go back really quickly to share my screen, and then we'll go to, and then we'll go to some questions and answers. So just really quickly, a map here where we start with, the kickoff where you get to learn the sessions through and get to meet your group. And we talk about leading right away. Month 1 is your self-assessment, your through Lumina, and your one-on-one and your second group group coaching session. Month 2 is will you do your self-aware leader assessment and then meet with your coach and start to write your IDP. And then in month 3, we'll really work on our IDP and really hone that time together with your peers and actually go through a lot of the leadership skills that you need to build. And then you'll also be able to measure your growth, to prepare give us some feedback on the program, and you have the option of having 3 more additional months of executive coaching. It's a different sort of second phase of the program, because we spent 3 months sort of giving you all the tools and talking about it. This gives you the opportunity to spend 3 more months with that coach, really helping you embody them, learn them, engage in them, and work your development plan. So what do the participant get after the program? Better understanding of what motivates them, better understanding of how to engage their natural strengths and what triggers them and where their behaviors change, how to influence better and how to connect with styles that are similar and different to them, more confidence in their leadership, better relationships, really understanding how important it is to develop yourself and develop others. So you become to lead more authentically, and lead through ambiguity, and you start to have relationships with like-minded professionals who become your trusted advisors. So benefits all the way along, and being able to address all of those challenges. All right, so from a program, everybody wants to know, what's the cost? What does it cost to do all of this? Ideally, it would be amazing to bring this into an organization. We beta tested it within an organization where, you have your operations and your communications and your marketing and all of your different functional leaders working together, getting to know each other and working through the same program together. 6 or 8 cohorts of those of that level of leaders. Launch price $2,900 per person. If we bring the groups, there could be potential discounts because the leaders are sponsoring a particular group. You'll get access to all of your content, Lumina Learning, and all of your journals. And then you'll be able to use the self-assessment as well, to keep measuring, right? So you can keep measuring over 3 months in terms of how well you've been making progress. And then you can have the option for 3 months additional for an additional $2,900. So 6-month program, about $6,000 is what we're launching it as, because what we really want to do is make it affordable. People have the budgets to be able to do this. It allows a lot of capacity for the coach to be able to work with the groups, and leaders can spend enough time in it, but not be overwhelmed by traditional programs. All right. What satisfied participants are saying, just a little bit of an endorsement. Safe place. When they really got into it, didn't recognize others had the same problems or the same challenges they did. Love the virtual format, love the connections that they made, and recognize that people are going through similar things. So